What's up, y'all? This is your girl Dee Walker Live, and I want to invite you to Celebs and Reality News podcast with Dee Walker. And I hope that you guys enjoy because today I'm talking about young, famous, and Africans. What I want you to do is go get yourself a biscuit, put a little something in it, okay? And let's get into this conversation because y'all, Kenya, Annie, and Zara are about to bring the gloves out or on, or put it on, or whatever. Anyway, go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. What's up? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Listen, before we get into, I would love you guys to do me a favor. Please support me by subscribing to this page. Go ahead and if you like what you see, leave your comments and hit the like button. Or if you don't like it, I don't know. Please leave comments about what I'm talking about so I can improve the show. And guys, let's get into it. Today we're talking about young, famous, and African, and we're talking about these folks right here, right here. We're talking about Kenya, Andy, and Zara. And actually, I don't. We're also talking about Nadia too because Nadia and Kenya are friends. Nadia and Kenya has this party. She invites Annie to come to the party, right? And when Annie comes to the party, she's, Kenya's talking about how everybody's bank account is all the same and all this other stuff. And Annie's like, why are you talking about your bank account? Can we eat? Hello? Can we eat? And Nadia is humiliated because Annie's talking about the food and it tastes good, and Nadia's like, "Oh my God, this girl, why is she complaining and everything?" So anyway, Annie decides, or I don't know how it happened, but she's having a moment, and she's talking to, I think she's talking to Adele, right? And she's telling him about her family and everything, and she's talking about her husband, and her husband, she loves him and everything else like that. She says she loves her kids. She has one kid that has a disability, but she loves her daughters and everything, and she's like all cool with her daughters. And matter of fact, she was kind of judging Kenya because Kenya, she talks about her daughter, how her daughter, she says she doesn't have any rules over her daughter. Her daughter's 15 years old. She allows her daughter to do what she does, right? And she doesn't live with her. She lives in another apartment. They still live in the same building, but another apartment. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, what if there was a big house? That would be her room, right? Right? And when you close your room, you close your door. So I don't know if there's a difference. But Kenya kind of got on Andy. She was like, well, you here and your kids are out someplace else. So my daughter is in my building. So what are we trying to say here? So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? At first, when I heard it, I was like, "Oh." But then I was like, well, what if she lived in a big, I mean, it's no different than if she lives in this big mansion, but she got her daughter in another apartment. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, Annie has this moment where she starts spilling her guts. And she starts talking about her husband and how, all of this happened and everything. And so Kenya goes, she, because she's talking to Kenya too. And Kenya goes, boom. Kenya goes, this is ammunition. And I'm like, okay. So we'll hold that thought, right? Because I got a question about that too. So then next party, Zara gets introduced. And all the men, their like mouths are hanging down and everything. That she's so beautiful, she's glamorous. That basically, like she's a queen and all this other stuff. And I could see that Nadia, Annie, not Kenya, because Kenya is like really good friends with Zara, so she didn't really kind of show any kind of emotions toward it. But they were all looking at her like, okay, we see you, I see you. And so anything gets a call. Oh, by the way, Diamond is Zara's baby daddy, and Nadia, Kenya was trying to get Nadia with Diamond, and in comes Zara. I don't know. I don't know. And it seemed like they still got a connection going on. Because as I was looking at more episodes, it looked like some kind of connection. And so anyway, Annie spills her guts out, right? And she's talking about, her disability with her child and all this other good stuff. And Kenya's like, I could use this. So then there's the next party. And by the way, when Kenya was she had a problem with her daughter. I told you about the food thing and everything. Okay, so there's that. So Zara comes in, and Kenya has this little short dress on at one of their events, and Zara's like, that's kind of short, isn't it? Why your butt's hanging all out, right? And Annie was like, damn, that's rude. You should have pulled me aside and was like, listen, you're behind the show. Why don't you pull your dress down? I mean, I went to places too when I have lost a lot of weight, and I've had me a little cute dress. Annie dress is real cute, you know what I'm saying? And I had me a little cute little dress on, and in Annie's defense, they were sitting down on the ground. And oh yeah, that was Diamond's party. That's right, it was Diamond's party. Duh. I get it together now. They were sitting on the ground, and in Annie's defense, she did not know that they were going to be sitting on the ground. And Diamond wanted to do it because he was like, listen, I know that we all have money, but sometimes we got to get back to our roots. So that's why they were sitting down on the ground. So I kind of love that. Annie just didn't get the memo about what was going on, but I think he kind of surprised them with that and everything, and everybody enjoyed themselves. So I thought that was really cute. I think Nate wasn't there at that time. So, but anyway, so Zara says to Annie, your butt is hanging all out. And on top of everything else, then Annie gets a call from her husband. She's so excited because she really loves her husband. She has this huge bond with him. But I'll get to that in a second. She has this huge bond with him. So he calls, she's all excited, like a little schoolgirl. My husband, because she's lonely. She's out here doing her thing. He's out over there. She don't see him. I understand that. When I go away on my trips, business trips or whatever, my husband answers the phone. I mean, he calls me. I get excited too. So she's like, my husband, look at my husband. Everybody look at my husband, right? Zara goes, oh, I know him. What? And he goes, well, how do you know him? So then there's another party, and I believe before the party, Annie and her husband, because her husband cheated on her several times. And so basically he sits her down, he goes, I see you. I'm sorry. I treated you wrong. I love you. Let's go ahead and renew our vows. She's all excited. She goes to the party to tell everybody that, you know, well, I don't know if it's a party. I don't know what it is. They do a lot of special things and everything. It's just so glamorous. You guys got to look at it, right? So she goes to them, and she meets up with them, and she's like, I's getting married. I's getting married. Yay! And so Zara goes to her husband. Can I take you aside for a second? I need to talk to you. And Annie's like, okay. She goes, well, she's not his type anyway. He likes dark women. Go girl, Annie. Dark women out here. Nothing against the light skinned chicks, but dark women, hey, we pulling up too, okay? So anyway, Annie's like, he likes dark skinned chicks. So Zara goes over with her husband, and Zara is like, do you remember me? And he's looking at her like, huh? And she was like, we never did anything, nothing happened or nothing like that. But I think that your wife is insecure because when you called and I said I knew you, she was like, how do you know him? And so then he was like, oh, okay. Then she calls Annie over. I don't know if he called her. I think she called her. I think she called Annie over, and she comes over and she's like, yeah, okay. And then Annie, she says to Annie, she tells her that we've never slept together or nothing, so you're insecure. She says that in front of her husband, and I'm like, wait a minute, what was that? What was that? I don't know. So Swanky is trying to get them together, and he calls a meeting between Zara and Annie. and they go sit down for lunch, and Annie was like, I don't like the fact that you called me out in front of everybody, so my behind is hanging out. And then on top of everything else, you bring my husband aside without me. And I don't think she said without me, but in my mind is without me. Okay. And you sitting down talking to him. What? And then you're gonna call me insecure in front of him. Y'all, what y'all think about that? What? Ladies, tell me. Insecure? Look, if that was me, I would be like, look, I wouldn't even acknowledge her. I would like, husband, come here. Let's go. Sit down and enjoy our day together. Let her come up with her ideas of whatever she thinks that I am, because I don't have time for her. Okay? Bye. Oops. Bye bye. you know? So, but deep down, I kind of like Zara too, because she's like, look, I'm a billionaire. I don't need this shit. Okay. But anyway, she's like, I make my own cheddars. I make my own cheddars. So anyway, they go out to lunch, right? And I think Kenya set that one up. Kenya set it up. And so they go out to lunch, and it just didn't work out. They wind up walking away calling each other the B word, right? Biatch. You go, it's like walking away, and he was like, I don't need you, okay? So she's walking away and everything, and Swanky hears about it, which is this dude right here. Oh my God, the dude can dress. He's like the best dress I've ever seen in my life. He puts 18, 19 to 20th century together and make it look fabulous. Okay, so Swanky gets a hand of what's going on, and he tries to get these two together, Annie and Zara. And Annie, Zara is apologizing. Well, first he sits down with Swanky and Zara sit down, and he was like, you need to apologize. And okay, Kenya, let me tell you something about her. All of a sudden, during the episodes, she's now defending Annie to Zara. She's telling Zara, some women are intimidated when they see a beautiful woman walk in the door. And so, what I think she was doing, she was placating to her ego. And she goes, you got to look at things differently. So Zara's like, oh, you're right. I have to apologize now. So she decides to have lunch. Kenny tells them to go have lunch together. They have lunch, and she's basically there. I don't know what that was about. Y'all gotta look at that episode, and you gotta tell me what you think that was about. Oh my God, guys! So they walk away calling each other biatches. Swanky hears about it, and Swanky is like, Annie's my girl. That's my girl. Because Annie and Swanky are really close. All right. So, um, she talks to him about everything. So he's like, Annie's my girl, but he also designs Zara. So he's like, I also designed for Zara. So I wanted to get them guys together. So he goes to Zara. He goes, I want to get you guys together. No, actually goes to Annie and says, I want to get you guys together. He goes, and he gets them guys together. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but he gets them together. Okay. So he sits them down, and Zara is like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because she's like, Kenya's telling her how she's so attractive. She walked up in the joint. People are, I'm so sorry. And Annie's looking at her like, Annie picks up her phone for real. I think I would have did the same thing. I would have picked up my phone and I would text somebody, this is some old, you know. So Annie's like, okay, darling, it's all right. It's all right. But then when she goes back to talk, how they sit down and do the talk, she's like, she's fake. I don't believe her. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So I kind of left it there. Diamond, by the way, they have another party. Swanky has a party. Nikki doesn't show up because him and his girlfriend are having problems. So I'm sure they're gonna show more about that. And I believe Diamond wasn't there. Was Diamond there? No, Diamond wasn't there. So Diamond is not there. And so here comes Adele. So Adele is like really digging Zara. He sees her and he's like, ooh la 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 la. And he's this guy is an undercover suave nigger. Okay? Nigga. Okay? No disrespect to anybody, and if I did, please forgive me. But he is an undercover brother. Okay, let's say that. Undercover brother suave. He's a suave undercover brother. So I apologize for saying the other words. Please forgive me. So anyway, I noticed something about him. He sits in the cut, he listens, he recognizes each and everybody's emotions and everything, and then he moves in for the kill. So Diamond is out, right? Hanging out with Snoop Dogg, living the best of his life. His baby mama, Zora, which I feel that there's still a connection between Zora and Diamond, he decides to make a move on her and he invites her out for a private lunch. What? Y'all gotta watch that. You gotta watch that. So anyway, Swanky has this party and he's all up on Zara and as time it's just crazy. Annie's like talking about she's getting remarried with her husband because he's like recognizing that he's done wrong. And then all of a sudden Kenya, remember I said side note, Kenya is like the look on her is like getting married, and Zara was like getting married. So Zara and Kenya get together and was like, I don't think so. He steps out on her. I don't think so. So I'm thinking, Annie, right? Nobody has been in your shoes except for you. Everybody sees what you can't see, and you see what they can't see. And until you come to your realization, your reality, it's nobody else's damn business, really, unless there's terrible harm, like he's beating her or something like that. And he doesn't seem like he does that at all. Matter of fact, he sat her down and he's like, I love you. I recognize what I did. Let's renew our vows. And Kanye and Zara are like, renew your vows? What? And then Zara pulls him aside at another party. I know I'm all over the place with y'all. It's a lot. It is a lot. Y'all gotta look at it. Matter of fact, I'm as time goes on, I'm gonna really look at it. She pulls her husband aside and she goes, I know you. And Andy's upset, like why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, there's so much more to these stories. So if you look at Netflix, no, I'm not getting paid by Netflix, but that's what I got and I like it, and I'm loving myself, Young, Famous, and African, because it's really good, and I'm really following them along. I need to look in a little bit more because I noticed that they have just 2 episodes. I don't know if what was the outcome of them, so I'm just kind of talking to you as I'm looking at the episodes. So if you guys want to look at it and binge watch and everything, I think I'm up to episode 5. I'm not sure what episode I am. I will be better with that, guys. And I'll be like, on this episode, this, that, and other. Y'all, this episode, this, that, and the other. So I promise I'll get a little bit better. But it's just the thing is, I'm a binge watcher, okay? I really am. I'm a binge watcher. And the thing with me is I'll sit and watch episode after episode. So it kind of all blends with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an episode and I'm going to talk with you guys. And I won't be so excited and all over the place. But y'all, do you think Kenya, Andy, and Zara is about to bring out the gloves? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Anywho, anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. You guys are super fragilistic expialidocious. I hope you enjoyed this podcast of Celeb and Reality News and talking about Young, Famous, and African. I really, really love that show. I hope that you love it too. And just go ahead and talk about it. Leave the comments, share this video, subscribe, and let's get it on. Y'all, I'm gonna put on emotional mess. Emotional mess. Oh, before I go, I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. I hope that you had a blessed day. And the most thing that I want to say to you guys that I think that is the most important thing, I love you, man. That's that 70s dance.